Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about present simple. I want to start with verb to be. The verb to be has a variety of usages and forms both as a main verb and as an auxiliary verb. It refers to a present or general state, whether temporary, permanent, or habitual. To be is used in many cases where there is no action described in the sentence. Look at the examples. I am happy. They are kind. In these sentences, am and are the main verbs. So you can't use any other verbs after them. We are learning verb to be right now, but here in the sentence, are is an auxiliary verb. The verb to be in the simple present can be used to refer to something that is true at the present moment. For example, she is 18 years old. He isn't a student. We are talking about something that is true at the present moment. Now you see a chart about the structure of verb to be. With I, we use am, and the negative form is am not. With he, she, it, we use is, and the negative form is isn't or is not. With we, you, they, we use are, and the negative form is aren't or are not. And the question form, if you want to make a question using verb to be, you need to start the sentence with am, is, or are. Let's continue. We use the simple present to express the idea that an action is repeated or usual. The action can be a habit, a routine, a hobby, or a daily event. For instance, I play basketball at the weekends. Here I'm talking about my routine. The bus leaves at 7 a.m. every morning. It doesn't leave at 7:30. Mary loves listening to rock music. My father doesn't wake up early on Sundays. The present simple tense can be used to talk about scientific facts, general truths, the things we cannot change. The earth circles the sun. The moon orbits the sun. Water freezes at 0 degrees. As you see in these sentences, we are talking about scientific facts. Let's look at the structure of present simple tense. Positive sentences. With they, we use the base form of the verb. Base form means verb 1. With he, she, it, we add s to the verb. I work in a school. He works in a school. In negative sentences, we use don't or doesn't with verb 1. You don't work in a school. He doesn't work in a school. And in the question form, we start the question with do or does, and we use verb 1. Do they work in a school? Yes, they do. No, they don't. Does she work in a school? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Some verbs have spelling changes with he, she, or it. Study becomes studies. Try becomes tries. Study ends with y, and before y, here we see a consonant. So y changes to I and we add es. Here's a note for you. It says be careful. Y doesn't change if the ending is with a vowel and y. For example, play. It ends with y, but before y, here we see a vowel. So we don't change y. Play becomes plays. Say becomes says. And verbs that end in these letters, we add es. For example, pass becomes passes, mix becomes mixes, teach teaches, brush brushes, do does, go goes, or wash washes. The present simple can also be used to talk about scheduled events or fixed arrangements in the near future. In other words, we can use this tense to talk about the near future. The party starts at 9. Here we are talking about a scheduled event. His friend arrives tomorrow morning. It says tomorrow morning. We are talking about the future, but as you see, we use present simple. Our holiday starts in July. This tense is also used with non-continuous verbs. What are they? They are the verbs of the senses and mental processes like believe, know, understand, want. For instance, they understand English grammar, but they want to speak it fluently. Understand and want, they are non-continuous verbs. And you can use these verbs only with simple tenses. Jack doesn't need help. I don't believe you're right. We can use the present simple tense when telling a story and retelling what happens in a movie or book. Suddenly, a man shouts outside and the woman hides in closet. In this film, Brad wants to live the life of the great painters and he struggles for that. We can also use the simple present tense to give instructions. Open your books at page 7. Crack the eggs and whisk them. Don't shout at me. It is also used to describe the sequence of actions in the present and something in the future after time words like when, after, before, if, and unless. For example, first I get up, then I have a shower. I'll talk to my teacher when I see her. As you see, after when, I use present simple. You must finish your homework before you play computer games. If it rains, we won't go out. If clause type 1, and with if clause we use present simple. He won't come unless you ask him. Now we will talk about frequency adverbs. We use frequency adverbs to show how frequently or how often we do an activity. You can see a list of common adverbs here like always, usually, sometimes, rarely. We usually put these adverbs between the subject and the verb. Look at the examples. I always go to the theater. I use always after the subject and before the verb. He sometimes visits me at home. We never drink tea. We use these adverbs after am, is, are, verb to be. He's always late. She's rarely on time. As you see, I use always and rarely after verb to be. Frequency adverbs can be used at the beginning or end of the sentence. This makes them stronger. Sometimes I am late for school. You can also say, I am sometimes late for school. I cook pasta very often. But we never say, I go often to the cinema. So you can use the frequency adverbs at the beginning or end of the sentence or after subject, but you can't use them after verbs. We can also use every plus period of time, like every day, every month, every week. For example, they go on a vacation every year. You can use a number or several or many followed by times. But if the number is one or two, use once or twice, then add a and a period of time. She drinks Turkish coffee 3 times a day. You can also say 4 times a day. But look at this example. I visit my parents once a month. If the number is one or two, we need to use once or twice. You can also say twice a month, twice a year. Some other expressions we can use with this tense are once in a while, every now and again, from time to time. Also, times of the day, like in the mornings or in the evenings. For example, you can say, I play table tennis in the afternoons. Days of the week. I don't like getting up early on Sundays, on Mondays, okay? Now we will continue with some exercises. Let's start. Write sentences using the present simple tense. First one is a negative sentence. Now I want you to remember the rules. The answer is he doesn't watch horror films. Now remember the rules. With he, she, it, we use doesn't in negative sentences with verb 1. Second one, another negative sentence. I don't think you are right. With I, you, we, they, we use don't with verb 1. Now we will make a question. Where do you go at the weekends? In questions with I, you, we, they, we use do and verb 1. What do your parents buy in the supermarket? You can also say, what do they buy in the supermarket? And now you see a question starting with how often, and the correct answer is, how often does she take the bus? Now we will choose the correct option. Let's start with the first one. The subject is he, and here the subject is I. So the correct answer is he doesn't like hot weather. I don't believe he can live in Adana. Believe is a non-continuous verb. Okay. And in negative sentences, remember, we use don't or doesn't, and here the subject is he, so the correct answer is doesn't like. We also use verb 1 in negative sentences. Question 2. I don't mind at all. Here, mind is the main verb, so we can't use verb to be. And with I, we need to use don't. Question 3. They seem happy. In positive sentences with I, you, we, they, we use verb 1. Let's continue. The exam, or it, lasts 3 hours. Jane and Mike, or they, come to the town twice a week. We use present simple because here you can see it says twice a week. Okay, it's a repeated action. Question 6, I want it now. Remember, want is a non-continuous verb. And with I, we use verb 1. Okay, now we will fill in the blanks with the correct form of the present simple tense. We will start with a question. When do you go to the gym? I go to the gym at the weekends. Do you go to the gym in the mornings or in the afternoons? I prefer going to the gym in the mornings because I like waking up early. Prefer and like are non-continuous words. You're very active. Does your brother play sports? No, he doesn't, but he loves watching football matches. Now, we will read the answers and we will write the correct questions. Here at 10 o'clock is underlined, so the correct question is, what time do you go to bed? I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. Now the answer starts with no, so we will write a yes, no question here. Do you have any brothers or sisters? No, I don't have any brothers or sisters. She works in a computer company. Where does she work? I'm an engineer. And the correct question is, what do you do or what is your job? Last one here. He wants to live in New York. Where does he want to live? Okay, now we will choose the correct option. Let's start with the first one. The course finishes at the end of July. Option A, we are talking about the future. B, this is a permanent situation. Here, we are talking about the future. It's not a permanent situation. Remember, we can use present simple for future. Second one, I live in New York. This is a temporary situation or this is a permanent situation. This is a permanent situation. Okay, that's why we use present simple here. I meet my friends on Saturday afternoons. It says Saturday afternoons. So this action is repeated. 4. Jack and Rose fall in love as soon as they see each other. Here we are describing a scene in a movie. Okay. Now we will choose the correct answer. My mother has one brother. Have becomes has if the subject is he, she, or it. Okay. Second one, Mick says, I go on holiday twice a year. Look, it says twice a year. So it's a repeated action. I need to use present simple. And with I, we use verb 1. Philip says, really? That's great. Unfortunately, I rarely go on holiday. Philip says, unfortunately, so I use rarely here. I am always busy. Remember the rule. With verb to be, we use the frequency adverb after verb to be. 3. We all know that humans are the main cause of the pollution. Know is a non-continuous verb. Do you agree with me? Here, the main verb is agree, so the correct answer is do. And look at Carl's answer here. I usually go cycling, so the correct question word is how often. And 5, my parents come from Egypt. They come from Egypt. Where do you come from? Okay, last exercise for today. Here, the correct answer is because it says one banana. Okay, it's singular. There is one banana on the table. The boys play football every Saturday. My students are very tired today. Here, are is the main verb. We never say my students don't very tired. 9. Jenny and Jane, they don't like reading books. And last one, where are my books? My books, plural. So I used are here. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.